Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are crime dramas. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Tracker Season 1, Episode 10. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, considering the title of the episode is like Into the Wilds, I don't know why my immediate presumption was like, oh, we're going to have like Coulter stuck in the wilds, which he kind of is not stuck in the wilds, but he's venturing into the wilds because of this particular case. But I thought like something was going to happen, but considering he's such a outdoorsman and all his father's training, like he's too well prepared to like really just get lost in the woods. But yeah, it turns out this is a job that was brought to him by Rini, which I love her just like randomly showing up in his camper, and it's like, how'd you know? It's like, well, Teddy and Vilma told me where you were. So basically a family friend, Gus, which the actor who plays Gus, I'm like, what do I know that actor from? I've seen him in stuff. I just can't, like, I hate when I recognize an actor and I just can't place them. I'm just like, he's so familiar because I'm like, I've definitely seen him, not just one or two. He's one of those actors where it's that guy, you know, that those actors where you're just like, I know you from stuff and I just can't pinpoint what I know you from because I've seen you in so many different things. Cause I swear whatever it was I know him from, he had longer hair. Maybe he did. I don't know. Either way, she has a family friend, Gus. And it's interesting, too, because we learn a little bit more about Rini this episode. Kind of like her mom and her I'm trying to remember, her mom might not be in the picture. Like, her mom might be gone. Maybe we knew that ahead of time. But, like, she mainly talks about her dad this episode. Kind of just how very particular he is, but also she kind of talks about like her relationship with her big sister and everything. So just a little insight into Rini a little bit. But there is this little element to the episode I thought was kind of interesting too, where Coulter's like, you just like, why are you here? Like, you're kind of using me as an excuse to ditch work. She's like, no, I am working. I might not be in the office because the office is boring, but like, yeah, I'm here, field work. But I'm wondering, like, is there something more to it? Is she just kind of making excuses to be around Coulter just so he isn't alone? Because there's something there, whether either one of them is willing to admit it, really. I mean, Coulter's too afraid to go down that route again. He kind of screwed the pooch with her before, but he's also too scared to get really intimate with anyone. He's just always moving on, never staying in one place. But I also wonder, is it like Rini kind of worried about him and obviously she needs his help, but I wonder, is there some perfect excuse of like, let me be out here with you so you're not alone, so you have a little more human connection? I don't know. I'm probably reading too much into it, but the whole her being out, like, part of me wonders, is there a little bit more to her not being in the office and not like working from like the building and the firm and stuff? Maybe there's more to it. Maybe it's not. I just thought that was interesting dialogue. But either way, this revolves around Gus's son Hank and daughter Madison, who like were supposed to be avoiding a storm, but they've lost contact with them for a while. But the thing is, they've gone off course from where they're supposed to, so it's up to Coulter to search the place where they potentially could have ended up landing. So he, skydives out of the plane, which Rini was kind of like, wait, you're gonna what? And it's like, yeah, it's the best way to do it. He's got experience to do it, so he jumps at the pun not intended, jumps at the opportunity to track them down. I was once again kind of scared, like, oh, maybe something's going to happen. He's going to get injured, which he does later on, but it's unrelated to the actual jump. I do also love at the same time, while that's going down, some mysterious guy shows up, especially as like we learn a little bit more about Gus and his children, how Gus says like, right, he wanted Hank to take over the family business, but him and Rini had the whole conversation about how kids want to be independent, kind of show they don't need their parents. So he went off, started his own businesses, but they fell apart, so he kind of had to come back and work for his dad, which his dad didn't mind. It's like, oh, we get to spend time together, it's fine, but it seems like it was just a situation of he wanted to kind of stand on his own 2 feet and kind of probably felt bad about it, so that's kind of inadvertently what got him mixed up in his current situation. I mean, because his sister says it best too. It's like, he's not a bad guy, it's just my brother doesn't always think things through. Which, hey, we can all get like that sometimes. But the moment the dude that his name is Volts, the moment he walks through the door, you couldn't even see him in full focus yet. And I was like, is that fucking Peter Stormare? And it sure as hell is. I was like, yeah, Peter Stormare. I get so pumped every, cause I saw him in a commercial recently. I think it was like a Black Ops commercial for a Call of Duty Black Ops. Was it 2? I'm not a first person shooter person, so gaming stuff comes my way sometimes. But like in that particular realm of gaming, because I'm going on a tangent. But my whole point is, I saw him in like a commercial recently. I was like, yeah. I want to say the first thing I ever saw Peter Stormare in, maybe it is the first thing I ever saw him in, or maybe I've seen other stuff with him in it that's older and I just don't remember, but the movie Running Scared from like 2008 with like Paul Walker, and I want to say Vera Farmiga's in that too, if I'm not mistaken. I think that might actually be the first movie I ever saw her in too. But yeah, subsequently, like, Until Dawn, him playing Chernobog in American God. So it's just like, I just always get something like, yeah, Peter Stormare. I don't know, like I said, I always just get super hyped. Because I also forgot. It's like, no, probably I just remember, first thing I probably saw him for was playing the devil in Constantine. I was like, right, because obviously Constantine, the movie came out like 2005. So yeah, I always forget that he was the devil until like Constantine comes up, and I was like, right. Either way, I'm going on my tangents and stuff like that. I'm sorry. Just my point was just like, I always just get excited when he pops up, because he's so imposing and scary, especially when he was talking to Gus and he's like, oh, this Breton guy, and it's like, oh, who are you? He was like, what name? He probably has me as an emergency contact. He's like, no, the name Nancy. At first I was like, are you trying to say you're Nancy? He's like, no. Nancy's the contact. He probably won't put my name down. It's like, well, there's no emergency contact. He's like, really? Oh, isn't that strange? And even Reedy being like, what'd you say your name was again? He was like, oh, I'll get in contact. I was like, oh, he's so imposing and scary. Just Reed's like, oh, bad guy. So he plays that role so well. He's just one of those actors where I feel like sometimes, I mean, I don't know. I don't know his filmography enough, but like the times I do see him pop up and stuff, he is kind of like meant to be imposing and scary. So I feel like he probably gets typecast like that from time to time. I'm not going to say his entire career is like that, but I'm curious if it is. Was not expecting him to like roll back up, trying to get some information out of Gus. Ended up hitting Gus. Gus shot him. Yo, boy, tanking them bullets this episode. He gets shot in the stomach. Flew a plane, got in the woods, eventually got shot in the leg by Coulter, but yeah, still going strong, still doing his thing. Like, it's just, that's insane. So, I just thought that was, once again, I was not expecting that element to the episode, so. But yeah, you're trying to, the entire time, just like them, you're trying to figure out, like, what is this all about? It's like, okay, Coulter landed, found the plane, it was pretty badly destroyed from landing, finds a dead body. You're like, oh, is that Bratton? But it's not Bratton's body, it's someone else. But it was shot with a gun, but it's like, oh, is it Madison's gun? Was it for self-defense? But then we find out later on, it's like, no, Bratton's the one that shot the guy, because he showed up, because this all started because Bratton stole some money from some people he shouldn't have stole from, and they're coming after him, and he kind of paid a price for it, because he ultimately got. Poor bastard, didn't even make it. So it's kind of, hey, was it even all worth it in the end? They didn't really get into it. It's like, these are some bad people out of Reno. That's all we got from it, and that's probably all there'll be to it, because it's all kind of nipped in the bud by the end. But, it's actually interesting, because it's like, we get, like, oh, we're sitting around the table, ha ha ha, at the end, but it's like, we don't get no true resolution at the end of the episode, like, what this was, like, fully about. But it's like, I guess, like, all you need is, like, hey, a guy stole some money from some people, and typical story be like, I mean, this story could go either way. Sometimes it's a thing of, hey, you got away with the money you stole, or sometimes it is a sad situation of, nah, your luck ran out and you got caught, and because Bratton's not our main character, he ended up getting got, because our main characters that we're, like, making sure are okay and we're following through with is Madison and Hank. Which the actress who plays Madison looks so familiar. Wasn't she in Nancy Drew? Didn't she play Bess's girlfriend, Addie? I could be mistaken. I believe it's the same actress, but there's like something else I know her from too. I remember seeing her in Nancy Drew being like, I know you from something, I just don't remember what it was. It's going to bother the crap out of me. Like, there's something very specific other than Nancy Drew. If it's the same actress, I'm pretty sure it is. But I'm like, I feel like there's something else I know you from, and I just don't know what. But either way, Coulter's in the woods. He eventually finds Madison, who is pretty banged up. She was trying to get away from Bratton and jumped and kind of busted her arm in the process. So luckily Coulter was able to get her and help her kind of reset her arm a little bit. They go to the ranger station. Oh, Volts is there waiting, double guns in hand, and ready to shoot at him. I mean, in fact, he was actually aiming for Madison. Luckily, Coulter got away, but got shot in the process. Having to close his wounds with tea bags, which I love. Teddy was like, I don't want to know about it. Everyone was like, actually, I want to know. Like, explain. He's like, yeah, Earl Grey and everything, which is so interesting. Like, it's like it's a British Army, like, tactic of, like, I was like, oh, like, something in the tea leaves itself can, like, help your wounds. It's like, well, it's like, time is of the essence, so we don't have time to drop by a hospital. We need to get to Hank as soon as possible. It is perfect timing considering, like, well, just getting dropped off by the ranger and eventually getting picked up by Rennie as they're trying to track down Bratton and Hank, because the ranger's looking after Madison and taking her to the hospital to get checked out for her arm, but because the whole point was like they were trying to get to like somewhere over the Canadian border because he's trying to disappear. Like he got passports or something because Rennie went to a place where the person was like, hey, this place is discreet, so we're not giving any information out. But she's like, hey, my boss thinks his wife is sleeping with someone, so he just wants to know the info. And she's like, yeah, tell your boss I think his marriage is already over. It's like, you just have to tell someone a relatable enough story. I'm like, well, it's like, hey, this isn't my significant other. This is my boss. Like, help me get some brownie points at work type of situation. So, but also your boy Volts, once again, stone cold killer. Like he killed the manager at that little place with all those cabins and stuff. Killed her. Killed Bratton as well as the guy that was going to help them disappear. It's like probably trying to like clean up. No, I mean that's also probably why he was going to kill. I mean, given the opportunity, and this is kind of the whole point where it's like, yeah, they knew like even if he got this money, he was going to kill everybody because there's too many witnesses. I mean, like Rennie saw you, and so did Gus. Like I guess it's like you're more worried about getting the money now, but you're killing everyone else, so you don't have anyone else involved. But it's like Gus is still alive because he got some shots off at you, so you ran away. Rennie knows what you look like, but he's killing everyone else that's directly involved, trying to leave it, I guess, as few loose ends as possible. That's why he was willing to shoot and kill Madison, because he probably was going to shoot and kill Coulter afterwards and the park ranger, but it's like, nah, bullets are flying my way, and I got shot in the leg. I need to get away. So Coulter eventually finds Hank is able to hide with him because it's like, right, we have the money. Even if you give him what's half of the money that's left, it's like it's just going to be more trouble. He's going to kill us anyway. So hid under the floorboards. It's kind of like, once again, him just like stalking around the room, like sliding his boots because he's hurt, so he can't properly walk. It's like, once again, just Peter Stormare just radiating scary. And I love like Coulter's just got the gun ready, like, all right, if I need to, I'll pop the shots off. And I love that he does his thing because they introduced it at the beginning of the episode. He likes to chew gum, and so he's chewing some gum and he drops the aluminum foil and he goes to pick it up and he's paying attention to the cracks in like the spaces in between the wood, and he just slides it in between the wood, and he's like, all right, if they're not in here and the money's here, it's because they're most likely hiding here. Okay. And so he slides back over, he's getting ready, pointed the gun at the wood, and Coulter just pop, pop. As it's like, wow. Once again, I just like the suspense of the scene of just like, you want to make sure your shots count because you don't want to miss him, because if you do, he's in the perfect position to start blasting you or Hank. You don't have to just worry about yourself. You got to worry about Hank too. But luckily, it was all resolved. And like I said, it's just in regards of, we never really get to see the aftermath and hear the aftermath of like what's up with Hank and Madison. Did Hank learn his lesson from this situation? What, Gus seems, I mean, at the end of the day, his children are alive. That's all that matters. And he's giving a free fishing trip to Rennie and Coulter, and it's like, yeah, we'll make it count. She's like, I'm going to end up beating you. Biggest fish wins. So just kind of a nice little moment between them at the end there, which is very befitting considering 90% of the time Coulter leaves before the gatherings. He always, doesn't. I mean, granted, you're kind of wounded, and it's like, right, you just got your payment, but ending the episode with them sitting around the table, it's kind of, I think he kind of doesn't have much of a choice because it's Rennie, so she's probably kind of insisting because he's kind of bailed out on not sticking around, like I said, literally every other time. So, especially like one of the previous episodes, it was her and Bobby trying to convince him to stick around, but he made an excuse not to. So this episode, like I said, this episode also feels like it's setting up like, I don't know, especially because they went out of the way to be like, oh yeah, like Rini's dad, like where's no photos of him? It's like, well, you know how your dad is. Like he, I guess, doesn't like his photo being taken. Which I'm like, I wonder is her dad going to be some big deal, and not in a bad guy type of way, but like, and you know, that's their way of working around it. But most likely, like they haven't cast her dad yet in the season, so maybe that's why. But I'm wondering is he going to be like a big deal or something, or maybe. The way she was talking about it almost seemed like there'd be interesting interactions. Because he's like, oh, I'd love to meet your dad. She's like, yeah, I wouldn't count on that. He just kind of like a lot. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, he has his theories. And I'm wondering if that's supposed to be a lot. Has Rini ever talked about Coulter? And he's got his thoughts about who Coulter is and what kind of man he, you know, stuff like that. So probably make whatever meeting they have interesting. Because it's going to be interesting to know what under what circumstances. Especially now that it's like, hey, he did a favor for Rini and helped out a family friend who, once again, he's a friend to her dad. So it's going to feel like setting the foundation for that at some point. Now, whether that's something we're getting this season, maybe next season, we'll have to wait to see. But I'm interested to see where the next episode takes us with all of this. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.